Hey guys, how y'all doing today? I hope everybody's having a great day today. Having a good day, have nothing to complain about, and I wouldn't complain if I did, okay? But today I'm gonna basically read the conversation that we're gonna have. So, because I wanna just make sure that I am putting everything out there as truthful and as factual as I can. So last week, right when we was getting the verdict or waiting to get the verdict on the Derek Chauvin trial of George Floyd, and sitting on pins and needles to hear that a tragedy took place. A tragedy, okay? And I'm reading this from CNN up on my tablet. So all this is coming from CNN, okay? So it says about 20 minutes before we received the verdict on the Derek Chauvin case in Columbus, Ohio. In Columbus, Ohio, there was a fatal shooting of a young teenager. I know everyone has already seen this and heard about it and seen the video that they put out there, but just, when I was watching the George Floyd the ending of the trial and sitting there waiting on that verdict to come down for Derek Chauvin, I started getting, right after they did the verdict and all that, I started to get notifications of this shooting in Columbus, Ohio. And I was still focusing on this. So after I did that, I moved over and immediately Googled so I could see what was going on with this incident. And it just broke my heart. It just broke my heart. I just want to go ahead and say that. But, they immediately, the following day, came, the police department, and they came and they released a lot of the body cam footage. They said that there were some parts that they had to blur out, like those young females, those young children's face and everything for privacy reasons or whatever. And at the time that they released this video, they did not name the policeman that shot her. And I'm sure, by the time you guys see this video from me, they done released his name. Because like I said, this happened last week, okay? It said Columbus police released body camera footage of the shooting of a 16-year-old girl just hours after the incident on Tuesday afternoon, okay? I did watch the video, guys. I did watch the video. It said Columbus, Ohio, police shot and killed a teenage girl Tuesday afternoon in Columbus, Ohio. Police body cam video shows the officer shooting the girl, who was black, as she appeared to attempt to stab two people with a knife, okay? I'm gonna stop right there and tell you what I saw in the video. I watched the video, and yes, when the police arrived, that's when the recording started with their body cameras. And as they're approaching the scene, you can see this young lady, this child. I'm not even gonna call her young lady. This was a child, a 15-year-old, 16-year-old child, scuffling with one of the other young girls there. And they're in the yard in the driveway at this point, and she's scuffling with one of them. So they proceed out on the sidewalk, and they both falls to the ground, okay? So the police is then approached up at this time. So immediately after that incident between those two young girls, the young girl that got shot proceed to have a scuffle up against a car with another young girl. And at that point, you can see that the young girl that got shot did have a knife in her hand. I'm watching this camera, the video from the police cam. So you can see that she did have a knife in her hand as she's struggling with the young girl up against the car, okay? At that point, gunshots starts to go off. Gunshots going off. I didn't hear, now I'm watching the video, I didn't hear the cops asking her or demanding her to put down her knife. At this point, these two young ladies are up against the car scuffling, and you can see the one that got shot with the knife And when I hear the gunshots going off, the other young girl runs off, and the young girl that got shot and killed was still leaning up against the car, and she gets shot and killed. Okay. Now I'm gonna go back to what I was reading. Okay, it says police received a 911 call around 4:35 p.m. about an attempted stabbing, saying a caller reported a female trying to stab them, then hung up. The Franklin County Children's Service identified the young girl who was killed as 16-year-old Michaela Bryant. Protesters also quickly formed at the scene of the shooting in the city's police headquarters. Okay, and then they go on to say, here's what they know. This is the following day. A portion of the body cam footage was shown to the media Tuesday in the unusual decision by the city and police. The video shows an officer approaching a driveway with a group of young people standing there. In the video, it appears Bryant pushes or swings at a person. This is the young lady that got killed, who falls to the ground. And you can see that in the video. Her and the first little young lady is scuffling in there. They fall to the ground. Okay. Bryant then appears to swing a knife at a girl who is on the hood of a car, and the officer fires his weapon, striking Bryant, who died a short time later. Now, once they got to the vehicle, Michaela Bryant and the other young lady, they did not say, young girl, they did not say her name. They wasn't, well, from what I saw, they was on the side of the passenger side of the car. They wasn't on the hood. They was on the side of the passenger of the car. And like I said, as they're starting to struggle with each other, Michaela Bryant, the young 16-year-old that got shot, you could see that she had the knife in her hand, okay? And like I said, at that point, I just heard gunshots, and it sounded like, you know, it was coming from the one. I didn't hear, you know, multiple people, you know. It says, it goes on to say, the police received the call about the attempt stabbing, and the female was trying to stab them, and they responded at that time. And then it says Columbus paramedics was cleared to come into the scene at 4:46 p.m. The police say the wounded person was transferred in critical condition to a nearby hospital where she was pronounced dead at 5:21. All this happened. I mean, they responded to the call at 4:45. 4:45. You know, the medics got there, and at this time, the young lady has been shot, and they move her, transfer her to the hospital where she was pronounced dead at 5:21. Okay. They go on to say that the police hadn't released the name of the person at that time shot, but Franklin County Children's Service said the young girl was 16-year-old Michaela Bryant, and that she was in foster care in the custody of the Children's Service. Hazel Bryant, the young girl's, Hazel Bryant said her niece, this was the young girl that got killed, said that she had lived in foster care and had got into the altercation with someone else that lived there at the home, you know. And Bryant, her aunt, said her niece had a knife, but maintained that her niece had dropped the knife before she was shot multiple times by the police. So she was shot multiple times. I only thought I heard when the police was talking about it that she was shot once, but apparently she was shot more than once, okay? Oh my God. So of course they're doing their investigation. And like I said, at the time of this video that they put out last week, they had not named the cop at this time. You know, my question is, the way this incident went down and watching it on the video, and they did say now, the policeman that put this video, you know, that showed the video, this police chief and all them, they were saying that the cop, that in the policies, if the cop feel like they have to use force, deadly force, to protect themselves and other people around, then that is a part of the policy. Okay, my question is, with this incident and watching this incident, and yes, this young girl had a knife. Could this have not been one time that they could have used a taser to tase her? You know, why you automatically goes to a gun, you're pointing it at this young girl, and you're shooting, you're shooting to kill. Would this incident not have been solved by them tasing her? And, you know, like I said, I didn't hear them demand her to put the knife down. The aunt say she dropped the knife before she was shot. I don't know, because I don't know if the aunt was actually at the scene or she's going by what bystanders was telling her. But I'm just asking a question. Could this have not been one of the incident when the taser should have been into play? They should have tased her, causing her to drop her weapon that she had, the knife that she had. It seemed to me like they, you know, if there was, once they was up against that car and she was scuffling with this other child, that they could have approached her. There was several cops there. They could have approached her or got close enough to her, or they could have tased her, and that would have restrained her enough to drop that weapon, and that would have restrained her. That would have dropped her down, and then they could have proceeded to see what was going on with the situation once they tased her. You know, I just think that would have been a situation where the taser would have been less. It would have not have taken her life. Yes, it's still bad to see a child being tasered, but, you know, making the choice out of shooting her or tasing her seemed like the choice would have been easier to tase her, to get her to drop her weapon that she had, the knife that she had, and then retain her at that point and find out, you know, what's going on and everything. It's such a tragic. And, you know, I don't know. I mean, it just seems like in these incidents, and I know cops are supposed to protect themselves and protect the people around them if they feel threatened. I understand that. I get it. I understand that. But the way that they go about protecting themselves or others, it seems like to me their first choice to defend themselves is always shoot to kill. You know, when they have other types of techniques that they can use to prevent from causing someone death. I mean, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. It just seems like, you know, and I don't know, I'm not a cop, and I've never had to be in situations like that. Okay, but it seems like when it comes to taking someone's life, and if they don't have a gun, because for her to harm one of them, because the young lady had already pretty much got away from her, the young girl that she was scuffling with, that you know, they could have tased her. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. It just keeps coming back in my head, and it just keeps running through my head that this was one of the incidents that this child did not have to lose her life. She could have been tased and taken down that way and stuff. You know, we don't know. I didn't see her actually, you know, dropping the knife and all that, because, you know, the video, they did slow motion it just to make sure. Now, they slow motion the video, the police chief, when they were showing it, they put it in slow motion to make sure that we saw that she had a knife in her hand. But they did not, like they said, they saying they still editing and all that. They did not show the part where she dropped the knife, and the aunt saying she dropped the knife. So that part we did not see. But I mean, even with all that being said, I'm just saying on the outside looking in that this would have been one of those incidents, situations where they could have tased her, and that would have took her down. This is a child. I don't care how she was built, looking like, I don't care if she had the body of an older woman. I don't care any of that. This still was a 16-year-old child that seemed like if they would have decided to tase her instead of shooting her, her life she would still have her life today. So we're gonna have to just wait and see how this plays out. But it's just sad, like I said, it's just so sad that every other week we are watching these type of situations go to the left. And people are losing their life. And when it comes to a child, it really touches home. It really touches home. Yes, kids get into situations with each other. They have little arguments and scuffles and this and that. And yes, this young girl felt like she needed to defend herself with a knife. I don't know the whole incident, but it's sad. It's just really sad. Okay. All right, guys, I'm about to let you get out of here. You know, drop me a comment if you want to. Watch the video, make your own decision about it. You know, just have a great time for the rest of your day. Don't forget to go back and give Granna some love. Share my video. Subscribe to Kitchen Talk if you haven't. Just have a great time. I'm going to catch you out next time around.